Australia put England into bat the first time that Cummins has won the toss, and he kept faith. He kept faith with tails, and finally it came right for him for the fifth time of asking. Crawley 22, Duckett 41. They put on 62 very easily, really. Almost a run of ball. They were just potting her along. Moeen made 34, but damaged his groin in the process. Root played on for 5. Brook was dropped on 5, one of 5 chances to be missed by Australia today. Well, Jim Maxwell's shaking his head. He can't remember when Australia put down 5 catches in a day either. But he went on to make 85 from 91 balls. Stokes got a good ball from Stark, which he, on reflection, might have played a bit straighter, but it looked very, very dramatic. It tore his off stump out of the ground for 3. Bairstow played on for 4. Then this partnership of 49 between Wokes and Wood that steered England towards, well, they're 283. Wokes made 36, Wood made 28. And Broad had an ambitious pull at Stark and was caught for 7. Bowling figures-wise, most successful Mitchell Stark, 4 for 82. So in go Australia. Again, a good opening partnership, 49 in 17 overs between Warner and Khawaja. Warner did give a very difficult chance. Bairstow just got his finger ends to it down the leg side before he had scored. He went on to make 24 before he was beautifully caught by Crawley. He's got such good hands there at second slip. I mean, he just doesn't miss. He came there in front of Root really at first. Took the catch off Wokes for 24. Khawaja 26 not out. Labuschagne finishing on 2. So 61 for 1, 222 behind. And so that makes it, I reckon, 344 runs scored today for 11 wickets that fell. And bowling figures-wise for England, let's have a quick look at those. Broad, 8 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 13. Anderson, 7 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 21. Wood, 5 overs for 10. And Wokes, the wicket taker, 1 for 8. From 5 overs, 3 maidens. He's absolutely bang on it at the moment in terms of accuracy and also in a rich vein of wicket taking as well. So we've got Steve Finn here, we've got Glenn McGrath towering over me as well, and Michael Vaughan's down there. Let's start with Glenn, because I mean that's Australia's day, definitely, yeah. But yet they dropped 5 catches. I mean it's a bizarre day, isn't it?
Well, it is, and they dropped 5 catches, missed a run out, so yeah. All up they created 16 chances. Yes. So good bowling. Is it the pitch or is it more the way England are playing? So it's a bit of probably a combination of all things. I thought once Pat Cummins came on today, he bowled exceptionally well, and they created a lot of chances. But the style of play from England, you're going to do that. So we saw contrasting styles. The way Australia batted at the end, it's like watching the grass grow. So it couldn't be more of a contrast. I think they're intentionally doing it just to be different from baseball half the times. But to create 16 chances, but just after tea, is probably too much. This pitch out there, that's too much on that. So you'd say England chance their arm. They score quickly, but they also give plenty of chances.
Michael, what do you make of those? I mean, 5, it could have been a lot worse for England, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I think England won't be delighted with the situation because they'd have liked more. But I think quietly, on the pitch that they were asked to bat on, and the fact that Australia did drop those chances, England, in that last half an hour, almost bowled in. I know Australia batting till stumps, but you've got 2 contrasting styles playing Test match cricket. You've got the aggressive way of England that just go for it, score it over 5, then Australia trying to play the attritional way. I thought Australia were a bit too negative in that last session. The ball's not done a great deal, and they just hung in there, sat in there, and I thought that was a chance, because England looked flat. I thought that was a chance for Australia to go and score 30, 40 more runs, get a bit closer to that England score. Australia have had the better day, of course. They're bowled England out, and they're 1 wicket down, but I think England won't be completely despondent. I think they're still in this game.
Yeah, interesting. Finney, those fields again for Australia at the start, when England actually got away to a flyer, but not through hitting boundaries, just picking off the field, those men set deep. It's the way that Cummins has done it throughout this series.
It's curious, isn't it? Because when you're sat up here watching and you see a bad ball go to the boundary, and then your good ball as a bowler just get rotated, it gets hit on the head and just defended softly into point, and the batters jog through for a single, and it just means that scoreboard sort of gets ahead of you as a bowler, and Also, if you're bowling to a right-left-hand combination, the worst thing you want is to be bowling 3 balls at each batter alternately through that opening salvo, especially when you want to try and build pressure on one person. But both teams have been super stubborn with the way that they want to play. I think England have been stubborn with the way that they're going about playing super aggressively. And Australia and Pat Cummins in particular, that opening 10 overs in every innings that we've seen England have throughout this series has been stubborn in leaving those gaps either side of the wicket. But I do think that especially this morning under leaden skies with a brand new ball in your hand and 3 high-class bowlers, to have those fielders out is still a curious thing for me, for the captain to
62 runs in 13 overs. I think there were 4 boundaries in that. It was bang, bang, bang. I mean, when you're bowling, the ball ends up there. Your good balls end up into that gap, don't they?
Yeah, and it's not a difficult shot. If you're a batter and you're just able to defend the ball softly to point, it means your head's over the ball, it means you've got a good stride in, you're playing it under your eyes. That's the best position to be playing that. What I would want if I was an opening bowler is that point fielder up, and for a batter to be trying to push the ball through extra cover, because then that brings the nick in. And actually, when Pat Cummins came on to bowl, he brought those fielders up. Yep. The England batters tried to push it through, and he found the edge 3 times. 2 were dropped, 1 was taken. And I think that they've missed a trick throughout the series to put more pressure on the England opening batters. I think they're better bowlers than those fields, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Do you think that's a fair point? I mean, it was like that on the first day at Edgbaston from Australia. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think they came up with a plan to sort of combat Bazball. And if they're going hard and they're flying out there, fair enough. But I just want to see a bit more pressure created. They did bring deep point and deep square leg up when Mitchell Starc in one of his overs, and we thought, here we go, this is better. Mitchell Starc bowled 2 very poor deliveries in 4 that went for boundaries, and they just put them straight back. So you can't set fields for bad balls, and I'd like to see a bit more pressure created. I know they go hard at them, but just watching the Australians at the end, you wonder where they were going to score. You actually have to sort of force it through there, and I know England are happy to force it, but I'd just like to stop that rotation. It's 100 more overs England's bowled compared to the Australians, because it's just so easy to drop and run, and especially when it's a right-hand left-hand combination, as Finney said. There's nothing more frustrating for a bowler seeing the ball just dropping close. They get a single, and then next you know the opposite hander is on strike.
It's interesting, Marcus, because in 2005 you put the men out, didn't you? There, but was that a different? What was your thinking for that? It's the first time we'd seen it, really.
Yeah, but I always say if you're going to put cover point on the boundary, you need an extra cover, and you need your gully to be a bit squarer. So if a batter just plays a forward defence and it drops square of the wicket, there's a great chance that extra cover is going to come in tight, and there could be a run-out opportunity, and your gully can also cut it off as well.
So protecting the good ball, in other words.
Yeah, the concern for me is that you have such a space on the offside and the leg side that you bowl a really good ball, and you're talking about high-class bowlers in Hazelwood and Starc, and you play a forward defence and the ball nips back, hits on the inside edge, and it goes to square leg, easy single. Hits the outside edge of the bat, goes square the wicket on the offside, and there's no one there. There's mid-off, and Labuschagne goes quite deep at mid-off. So it's almost like and also the gully's fine. It's almost like a 5th slip. It's 3 slips and a 5th slip, really. It's not a gully. So there's just an open acreage of space for England to just keep rotating the strike. Australia will say it's working because they're 2-1 in the series and they're in a good position here. But I'd argue with them that it's not worked at the start of the year. I just think it's too easy for Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett to get going. The problem that they had is that they actually did bring the field up to Ben Duckett when Mitchell Starc was bowling, and Ben Duckett went bum 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 to the boundary, but it wasn't because of it was because they were poor balls. And it's almost like a spinner bowling with fielders around the bat. Some spinners can, some spinners can't. It's almost to me that Mitchell Starc can't bowl with fielders up because he starts to bowl a few loose deliveries. The Aussies will say it's working. I'm not too sure. That side of the Ashes series, that's been a common trend. I would argue that at times, yes, you spread the field, but a lot of the time, particularly with the new ball, I don't think that tactic's working.
It's interesting it's difficult to do, but reckon what the score might have been had that point been up, because they did get away. I mean, they 5.5 and over, just with singles, really.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no pressure on the opposition whatsoever. And but Bazball's not about building pressure. Like, you build pressure, you wait for the big shot to come, and hopefully the big shot's coming. So you don't need to build pressure. It's like, I'm not sure what their thinking is, because they're cutting the boundaries off, but they're giving ones or twos. If they're a lot smarter, which we saw at Old Trafford, okay, you pick up your ones and twos at will. You go along 4 or 5 runs and over without even trying, and then you put a bad ball away. So you're sort of relying on Bazball to actually try to score too quickly or try to force balls that aren't there. Yeah.
What are the Australians worried about? Because at the minute they're setting these spread fields. Let's just be clear, they've had a better day.
Yes.
And we're just kind of nitpicking at them.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are they worried about? Because in the last 2 games they've had these fields, they're going at over 5s. So they're worried about going at 6 and 7s.
I
agree with you, yeah.
There was a time when Ben Duckett kind of leading edge that went just over cover point. It could have gone straight to point. So it's not only that it's a kind of a boundary saving, but if they bowl a bad ball, it's going to the boundaries anyway. The way that these England players hit the ball, it goes to the boundary. It's more the fact that as a left arm, if I'm a right-hander facing Mitchell Stark and he swings one in early, there's a very good chance that I might just flick one off my hip and it could go straight to square leg in the air.
Yes.
You see it often. So I would say to the Aussies, look, actually by having square leg, it's an attacking move for a catch. So Zach Crawley does like to work it on the onside, and it might just go in the air. If you keep bowling bad balls, you deserve to go to the boundary. That's what, as a captain, anyone that captains in cricket, you will always say to the bowler, we set fields for your best balls. That's what we set in fields for. We're not going to set fields for a leg stump half volley or a short and wide, because if we do that, we haven't got enough fielders. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by this kind of the 2 teams play just completely different.
Yes, almost deliberately it seems now.
Yeah, it's like England just go for it, and Australia now are playing attrition. And at the end of this series, in a few days' time, we'll work out who's had the better.
Got it right. Yeah,
it's like they think England will get bored of taking 1s and 2s.
Yeah. Yes.
Which they probably do, but they want to hit boundaries all the time. So it's like you think build pressure by dot balls. It's like they're building pressure by just 1s and 2s. It's I can't explain it.
Wasn't that a lovely spell by Pat Cummins, though? I mean, we've had all that talk at Old Trafford where he did look tired. I mean, and I think he kind of admitted that he was, and it's been a pretty gruelling time for him. Come here for the India-Australia Test match. It doesn't seem that long ago, and it wasn't that long ago, and he's been on it ever since. But wasn't that a beautiful spell of bowling? Real control, wobble seam, swing, pace.
Well, sometimes in cricket you can see the leadership in terms of performance a lot better as a batting captain. So when Ben Stokes did what he did at Lords and what he did at Headingley in the first innings with the bat, you saw, look at the captain leading. I thought that was Pat Cummins' response in a way. That was leading with the ball in hand, because his team had a stinker of a start this morning. Yeah. They were awful for the first 30, 40 minutes, and all of a sudden Cummins got the ball in hand. He brought the field up and he bowled quickly. He bowled with great skill. At Headingley, I didn't think he was at his best, but he got 5 for it at Old Trafford. He just had one of those weeks. He just didn't get his rhythm right. That was Pat Cummins back to Edgbaston and Lords, because in those first 2 Test matches he was outstanding with the ball in hand, and he's so close to doing something very, very special as a captain. To win overseas in an Ashes is very difficult to do, and that was him leading with the ball in hand and saying to his team, you've got to follow me, because I want to win this Ashes, and I hope all of the remaining 10 in the team want exactly the same kind of mindset. It was magnificent to watch.
Just looking at a couple of 6s of Harry Brooks there on the screen. One of them, that pick-up bang into the crowd. He's different, Glenn, isn't he?
Yeah.
Crikey, he's got some talent.
He's got a heap of talent. And just looking at those shots, that one he picked up just short of a length and over the top, and that pull shot, or hook shot, I should say, they look slightly premeditated to me. If he hits a boundary straight, next ball he's hanging back looking for something short to hook or pull. It's just when you surprise him, when he's played a few dot balls and you surprise him with the short ball, he looks a little bit more uneasy. But he's I don't know whether he's just reading the game well, but he's got all the shots, and he just he's just a fluent batsman, sort of offside, onside. He's got a huge amount of talent and ability. So it's just about sort of getting that mental, psychological part of the game. If he can match that, he's going to be a real good talent.
At Lords, we were talking about him having problems with the short ball, weren't we? I mean, they bombed him there, and he looked all over the place. Some really poor shots, got out with a terrible shot. We've hardly seen one. They haven't gone to that since, have they?
Well, even at Headingley in the chase, they didn't really go to that.
No.
To Harry Brook.
I wonder why.
They got him out with the short ball there too, but it was too late.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
He really looked vulnerable at Lord's.
Yeah,
didn't
he did. He was all over the place. He
Yeah.
was playing baseball and trying to win the battle,
flapping it to cover. And
I don't know. I don't think. Good question to Pat Cummins and the Australians, but he's a real talent. He's right up there with. I mean, Peterson for me was England's best. In the middle of the innings against all the real quality bowlers around the world, around the generation I play. When Glenn, Warney, Murray, Dale Steyn. Harbhajan, Anil Kumble, all the real kind of quality bowlers of that era. Kevin Peterson dealt with it at a time. They got him as well, but he dealt with them. And looking at Harry Brook in a similar kind of way, he's just got that ability to put really good bowlers under pressure.
Yeah. Very uncomplicated.
Very. I think he's just a straightforward lad. I think he's just simple. I think he sees the ball and tries to score off it. I don't think he overcomplicates life.
No.
I think he's a great guy to have in the dressing room. I think he's very humorous. I believe he comes out with some gems in the team, which is always handy. He's clearly got an amazing eye. His eye is fantastic. He gets that little trigger. He stands really still. His bat, the toe of his bat is pointing towards the sky. He just stands still and he just tries to react. He doesn't get that front foot. That left foot doesn't go. If you're bowling channel and there's a bit of movement, as we saw early in his innings today, if you're taking it away from his eye line, he doesn't quite get that left foot close to the ball. So that's why you'll see him. If we saw him at Lord's in the second innings, as soon as it nipped, I think he was bowled in the first innings, snicked one off as well. So Headley the same, when he went at number 3. If you're as a bowler seeing a batter that basically plants that front foot down the middle of the pitch, straight up down middle stump and not getting it close to that kind of channel line, I think you fancy snicking him off if there's any movement. And we saw that today. If there's no movement, his eyes and his talent will take over.
Let's see if Henry Moran extracted any gems and some humour from Harry Brook. He's been speaking to him.
Well, Harry, the general consensus up in the commentary box is perhaps Australia's day. What would you say?
Well, they've had a good day. Obviously, bowling us out. When you put a team into bat, you always want to try and bowl them out, especially in a day. They bowled well, to be fair, but I think we definitely played well in the end there, and we got us up to a respectable total.
Is that what you'd say it was, respectable, but perhaps a few runs left out there?
We'll have to see tomorrow, won't we? But I feel like that's probably a good score on that pitch. If we bowl well tomorrow and get a couple of early wickets, you never know what can happen.
Conditions out there, how's that pitch playing?
Yeah, it was tough to start with. They bowled quite well at me to start with. It was tough, but I felt like I was going to go out there and try and be positive and look to put the pressure on them. I've said plenty of times before, I don't really want to get out stuck on the crease and being tentative, so I went out there and tried to be a bit more positive and put it back on them, really.
12 months since your debut here at this ground. How have you changed as a cricketer, and where does that innings rank for you in terms of how you want to play and how you feel as a Test cricketer?
I felt good today. Obviously, I got that bit of luck early on, but like I said, I just tried to put the pressure back on them and just play the way I have done in the last 12 months or so.
What is the way that you play? How would you best describe it?
Positive, always looking to put the pressure on the bowler, backing myself.
Moeen Ali, how is he? Because clearly that looked like a concern for England.
Yeah, I don't think he's too good at the minute, but hopefully he can come out there and bowl a few overs for us tomorrow maybe, or get a few runs for us next innings. So, obviously he's been a vital player, he probably hasn't done as well as he'd have wanted to do, but he's been a very vital player for us in this series, and he's a top player, so hopefully he's all right and gets well soon.
What about the message coming into the game from Ben and Brendan? What's been the chat coming into this match?
I actually don't think we've spoken about it at all, so we're just going out there and playing the way we have done in the last 12 months and enjoying it.
Did it feel a little flat from the stands? It felt like the atmosphere maybe wasn't quite as energised as other matches.
Well, if the weather hadn't ruined things last week, it might have been a bit different, but it was good towards the end there, but like I say, if we were coming here 2-all up and this was all to play for, I'm sure the crowd would have been a bit more up and about.
And when you spoke before this match, you mentioned the fact that Test cricket's your thing. Long-term central contract was the quote that came out. I mean, is Test cricket something that you adore and you just want to keep on playing it for this England side?
I won't say I adore it, but I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it I've enjoyed being around the squad for however long I've been now, 12 months or whatever. But no, it's been good, and we'll see what happens.
Ben said at the toss that he wants to lead England and Australia next time, just finally. You want to be there alongside him?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a long way away yet. There's plenty of things could happen by then.
He's a straight talker, isn't he? There's no sort of diplomatic, we'll have to wait and see, or any of that sort of, mowing. I haven't seen him yet. That's usually the answer, isn't it? Oh, no, he's not very good.
do you adore? No, I don't adore it.
That's about as straight.
Well, adore is quite strong, isn't it?
Well, we all adore Test cricket. That's why we're here. But no, he certainly calls a shovel, I would say, in Yorkshire terminology. We played well today, though. Some wonderful shots. So, what are we going to do? What are England going to do tomorrow? They've got Warner out. It's been a feature of this series, really, that England just kind of chipped away with the wickets. Some of the Australians have got in, but got out.
Yeah, I don't think England will be concerned by the scoring rate this evening. Whether it's just Australia getting through to stumps, we'll have to wait and see. England have worked a way of getting Australia out for around 300 in the last few occasions, so they'll try everything they possibly can. No Moeen Ali is a big blow.
Yes.
Because Moeen's been chipping in with a couple of nice wickets on most occasions.
If he can't run.
But it's a swing. That ball then that England were trying to change just started to swing towards the back end there in the last few overs. Clearly they're going to need contributions from all the seamers. Mark Wood's bowled quickly. Wokes has been very steady once again. Broad, very consistent. Jimmy Anderson, still nothing in the wicket column. He's bowling okay. He's bowling with not as much attrition as we've seen in the last couple of innings, but he has to contribute with wickets. England desperately need Jimmy Anderson.
He's been tidy, but without.
He has to. For England to win this Test match, England will need something from Jimmy Anderson.
Moeen batting, that could be a problem. I mean, if he is immobile.
Well, I think you might get one of your dreams of England's Test match team, because if Moeen can't bat three, and I can't think he will, you might get Chris Wokes up the order. Because I don't think they'll move Harry Brook, and I don't think Joe Root will move from 4. So someone will have to bat at 3. Maybe Chris Wokes.
We'll be banging on about it long enough.
Chris Wokes or Mark Wood.
Have to wait and see. Glenn, from your perspective tomorrow, there's bat on, won't they? The forecast could just play nicely.
Yeah, no, the forecast should be fine. Australia will just play, but I hope to see the scoring rate go a little bit quicker. It's you've got to show intent out there, and if you just look to survive and hang around, you're going to get a good one sooner or later. So you need that scoreboard ticking over to put a bit of pressure back on the opposition. Like Harry Brook says, he just looks to put the pressure back on the bowlers, and that's definitely what happens. And I think when you're just looking to survive, the bowlers can bowl exactly where they want. The pressure builds. You feel, where am I going to score the next run? And that's not what Test cricket's about. They need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. So they'll probably be a little bit more positive, show a little bit more intent tomorrow. But it's about wickets in hand and just keep it going and claw down their first innings lead, and every run after that will be a bonus.
Andy, choose the main stats.
Well, let's go with England's scoring rate, 5.1 and over, 283 all out in 54.4 overs. That's the 5th fastest opening innings of a Test ever. England have 4 of the top 5 in the Test they've played since the start of December of last year. Harry Brook closing in on 1,200 runs in his first 12. Test gets 26 more in the second innings to reach 1,200, which is the 10th player to have 1,200 runs in his first 12 Test. Usman Khawaja has passed 1,000 balls for the series, only the second opener to do that in an Ashes in England since 1961. Pat Cummins' opening spell, 1 for 21, 2 drops, 24 full shots out of 36 balls, the highest full shot percentage recorded in a spell in England since 2006.
Thanks, Andy. Let's get some reaction from the Australian camp now, and Simon Mann as he's speaking to the spinner Todd Murphy.
Well, Todd, sum up that day for Australia.
Yeah, I think winning the toss and bowling, the first objective is to bowl the side out, so we managed to do that, take 10 wickets, which was a really nice start, and to be 1 for 60 at the end of the day, I think it's a really good day all round.
Would you have taken 283 all out at the start of the day?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way sort of England play, they score quite quickly, and so to get 10 wickets for 283, albeit didn't lose a lot of time in the game. So I think being 1 for 60 at the end of the day also helps.
What's the challenge like against this England batting side?
Yeah, it is. It's a different challenge. It's something I sort of haven't faced before, and they're playing a really attacking brand, and it puts pressure back on us. So I think it's about just having really good plans and trusting that you can make that work.
What about you? Did you expect to play much of a part today? You see the overheads and you think, it's a pace bowling day?
Yeah, I think the conditions definitely favoured the pace bowlers, but with the attack we went in with, I think I definitely expected to play a part. no matter what day we're going to bowl. So it was nice to be able to come into the game on day one and contribute a little bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the game plays out.
Did you sense an opportunity with Moeen Ali's injury that he was going to play a shot or two against you? Yeah,
definitely. I think it was quite clear that when Mo hurt himself, he was going to go ultra aggressive. So I think that was sort of the plan, to come into the game and just change the pace of it a little bit. And I knew what he was going to try and do to me, so it was nice to try and get one there.
And you slipped in with another one as well, Mark Wood.
Yeah, it was nice to come back in again, sort of when they built a little bit of partnership and break that as well, which was nice. What's your first Ashes series been like? 'Cause you might not have expected to play at all in this series. No, you're right. Coming over here, I didn't really expect to play. Nath's been so durable over his whole career, so and it's just I wanted to sort of embrace what Ashes cricket was and just get amongst it and try and learn as much as I could. But it's been more than I ever could have hoped for coming over here and playing a couple of games. Has he said anything to you? Did Nathan Lyon pass on any advice, any tips? Yeah, Gaz has been so good for me, and not just this series, but across the course of my early career. And I think his biggest message to me is just coming back to what I do and just trust in that and don't go away from it and just believe that it can work at this level. Yeah. What about this oval surface? A pace bowling day to day, largely speaking. Do you think there'll be a bit more for you later in the game? Yeah, I hope the sun's out all day tomorrow and the wicket can bake a little bit and we can put some time into the game. But I think it's going to be one of those ones with a fair bit of grass coverage. There'll be a little bit happening the whole game. And what about the team itself? It's been a tough series, back-to-back games. Is everyone not up for it? Of course you're up for it, but is anyone the physical challenge of it? Is it tough being out there? Yeah, I think it is, and the guys have, with the World Test Championship final as well, it's sort of 6 games in 2 months. That's tough on the quick bowlers in particular, but I think what's online at every sort of given game, that the boys are able to get themselves up for it. So it's a new challenge each game, and there are some tired bodies, but the boys don't complain and just get stuck in. Yeah, is it mentally tough as well? Yeah, definitely. I think one of the greatest things I've sort of seen coming into the series is how well the guys get away from cricket, and a lot of the boys enjoy their golf, and it's just a nice way of switching off because the cricket can be quite draining. So I think you do need that outside of it. But you've given yourself a chance in this game. Definitely, I think we've had a good day, and hopefully we're going to have another good one tomorrow.